Welcome to the Sherry Andrea Psychic Empath Show with your host, Sherry Andrea. Sherry Andrea brings her listeners interesting discussions and topics related to empathy, psychic and spiritual development, as well as energy work. She is herself a psychic empath, healer, coach, author, and founder of SherryAndrea.com. Welcome, and here is your host, Sherry Andrea.
Hi, and welcome. I'm your host, Sherry Andrea, and thank you to all my listeners, for everyone who's listening. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate the time that you give me. The topic of tonight's show is the law of attraction. This is a topic I get a lot of questions about. Specifically, it's about the law of attraction and creating a wonderful reality. And many people call and they ask me questions, so that's the reason why I've chosen this topic. So if you think that it's kind of off topic for a psychic empath to talk about, I will actually explain, because as of yet, in the few shows I've done, I haven't exactly explained kind of where I came from and even why I'm doing this. I awakened to my empathy, I don't even know how long ago it was now. I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. It seems like time has been a blur. But I had always known that something was going on with me, but the problem was I thought everyone experienced the things that I was experiencing. So I didn't identify with myself as being different or having something unusual going on since the time I was a child. So I actually literally, from the time I was in what they called Head Start back then, which is last year of preschool now, since that time, I literally remember I would hear things that people would say, or I would hear conversations between two people, but what I was hearing and what I was picking up, two different things. And it would be very confusing to me. And so I was very shy because I was always confused, very affected by loud noises. I would cry at the drop of a hat. If somebody would be on the other side of a school cafeteria yelling, I would start crying because I couldn't handle what I was picking up and the strong energies from the emotion that I was picking up. So I got used to always telling people I had a stomachache. So when I was a child, people thought, they must have thought I was sickly. They must have thought, there's something always wrong with her, because I was always crying, and every time they asked me what was wrong, I would say the same thing. I would say, I have a stomachache, because I kind of felt foolish. Even that young, you kind of sense that something's not right. So anyway, I fully awakened to my empathy after the birth of my son, who is 7 now. And that led to other things. That led to me just spontaneously also awakening to Clairsentience, which is the ability to feel energy. Of course, I didn't know what to make of any of this because there was very limited information on Clairsentience. That led me to, of course, join message boards. I did a lot of reading and a lot of research for probably a year and a half. I didn't understand it at the time, but I had this really strong urge to read. I read everything. Everything I could find, I was constantly reading. If I had to go somewhere, like if I had to go to my parents' house, I was taking my son over there, I would literally find things on the internet that I wanted to read, and I would copy and paste them into a Word document and either take it with me on a CD or I would email it to myself so I could, pull it up there and quickly read it. And then, just like so many, it was like one thing led to another, and eventually I did find out, what my purpose was. And that what my purpose was to help others along their path. And that's basically what I've been doing. And so if some of the topics you don't think they seem to fit because you identify me as a psychic empath, well, you have to understand that's actually not how I identify myself. That's just like a small not small, but it's just a part of me. And there are many parts that make me up. But this is one of the things that I studied, and one of the books that someone recommended to me early on when things in my life were really crazy. And basically, the law of attraction is awesome to study. And so even if you only get a chance to do a little reading on it, I think you'll find it very interesting. And it really does empower you to go from letting life run you to realizing that you had the power all along to create your own reality. And if there was something that you didn't like in your life, that all along you had the power to change it. You know, literally, if there's something you don't like in your life, change it. And that goes for past, present, or future. Many of the times, the reason why we kind of head in the directions that we do is because sometimes we have trouble letting go of what happened in the past. So, for example, if something that happened in the past is so solidified in your mind, and occasionally you go back and you revisit it, well, the past is staying the past, and the past basically created your future. Well, you literally have to let go of the past to be able to change it. And that's basically when I say that you can change even your past, that's what I'm talking about. You can remember it differently, or you can completely make the conscious decision to let it go. And which is something you should be doing anyway. As you know, you shouldn't hold on to the past. You shouldn't be determined to hold on to the way things were, or else you're going to stay in the same place. And of course, we're constantly and forever changing and growing. And to be able to really properly do that and really properly advance, you have to be willing to let go of the past. I mean, even if it's something that happened to you yesterday, some people feel that they have the right to still be angry about it today. Okay, but you know what? It's not going to get you ahead. Not until you let go of it are you going to be able to move on from it. And unfortunately, the way the law of attraction works is quite simple. You attract to yourself what you put your focus on. So, if you're focused on that argument that you had with someone yesterday, look at what you're putting your focus on. Look at what you're telling the universe you want more of in your life. You know, every time something happens and you get upset about it, stop and ask yourself, okay, is this what I want the universe? Is there anything about this that tells the universe what I really want it to be sending me? And if it scares you, you know, when you realize that, okay, I understand what I'm focusing on. I understand I'm focusing on that argument I had yesterday or whatever I was mad about from yesterday, and you realize, well, wait a minute, I would never want to be telling the universe, yeah, send me more of that every day. It'll scare you a little bit, and it should. It should scare you enough to get you like kind of out of that cycle and to get you more quickly letting go of the things that happen and realizing and taking on more of an attitude of, you know what, it doesn't matter. Let it go, because the reality is it doesn't matter. Once it's happened, it's happened. And the fact is you can't change another person. You can only change yourself. So it's better to spend your time and focus on the present, what's going on in the present, and not spend any time living in the past or the future. Now, I know one thing with the law of attraction that you may want to use it for is accomplishing your goals. And so you may be thinking, well, if I'm using it to help accomplish my goals, then, you know, don't I want to think about the future because we're talking about goals? Well, no, even when you're talking about goals, yeah, there's an end result you want in the future to happen. There's some final thing that you want to achieve in the future. However, you have to understand, you have to stay present and focused on what you need to do in the now to get there. Okay, so what should you be doing today? Not what should you be doing 10 days out or 30 days out. No, what should you be doing today that's going to help to create that reality? Well, let me start. Actually, let me do this. Let me first explain that tonight we may have a guest. Her name is Melanie Geddes, and she's a scheduled guest host. And she's author of Learning to Dream with Your Eyes Open. Now, I'm actually not sure if Melanie's going to be able to make it. But if she doesn't, we can always reschedule because Melanie, she conducts self-improvement, motivational, and employment-related workshops, seminars, training. She specializes in youth workshops. Basically what I've been talking about, this is what she does. This is what she teaches people to do, but on an even deeper level because she takes it from the point of view of, how to manage and to have control in every part of your life. Excuse me, including how to manage your money, which for the, with the law of attraction, that will help. If you the reason why you want to use it is because you always find yourself broke. Well, maybe one of your problems isn't just that you need the universe to flow, more abundance to you, but maybe one of the issues that you need to resolve is what are you doing with that abundance when you get it? Maybe you're kind of throwing it out the window as soon as you get it, and what is that telling the universe? That you don't want to hold on to your money. So all of these things, everything works together and they all help. And so if she is not able to make it with us today, then definitely we will make sure that we have her on another day. So that callers can call in, ask her questions, find out about, how she creates her workshops for youth. That's very interesting, especially with the summer coming up. Summer, people trying to figure out what they're going to do with their kids for the summer, various summer camps. All of us would like to think that we're going to put our kids somewhere that's going to help them in some way. Help them, empower them, help them get ready for the next school year, help them learn something worthwhile. So anyway, I want to also bring up for call-ins tonight, of course, the call-in number is 714-816-4750. Now, when you call in, please keep it to one question, if at all possible. Sometimes we have a two-part question because one thing relates to another. That's fine. But if you can, try to keep it to one question. And let's get started. Okay, I'm going to try to go in an order that's going to actually make sense and make it easier for you to understand. Now, if you're going to take notes, I'll number them for you so that if there's some part of it that you don't understand, maybe it'll make it a little bit easier for you to then get more information. Now, of course, anything that I discuss, I've written about much of what I'm going to discuss on my website, sherryandrea.com. So you can always visit there and do some reading, and you can also contact me through the website. So if there's anything that I've brought up that you really want me to go more in depth on, then just contact me or just go to my website, and I've written a lot of articles on the law of attraction. So the first thing when you've decided that you want to delve into the law of attraction, some people refer to it as manifesting. Also, some people just refer to it as creating your own reality, meaning instead of letting life run you, you're in charge and in control and you're running your life. The first thing that you must do is that you must understand that you create your reality. If you don't believe that you can create your own reality, then in fact you won't be able to. You have to actually believe that you have that kind of power and control. And many of the things that I discuss, you also kind of have to be able to believe in. Basically, anything that you don't believe in, it will be very, very hard for you to basically do any of the things that I tell you. For example, if somebody told you that you could literally jump off your roof and fly, even if that were true, you wouldn't be able to do it unless you actually believed that you could. Even if it were possible, if you tried to get up on your roof, even if it were possible, and you didn't believe that it was true, when you went to do it, your mind would be going, no, this isn't possible, as you, like with a big thud, hit the ground. And that's basically, a big part of getting started with the law of attraction is realizing how it works. Understanding cause and effect. Basically, cause and effect is just that. For a cause, there's an effect from it. So, for example, you flow negative energy out into the universe. Well, guess what's going to be returned? The universe is going to return negative energy. You flow positive you flow positive energy out, it will return positive energy. But now it's a little bit more in depth than that, because you're probably asking, well, wait a minute, how exactly does it know what to send me? Simple. It's going to send you what you focus on, because the universe, it doesn't understand long explanations of what you want. Like, you could explain to me what you want. You could say, well, I want this, and this is the way I want it, and I want it in this amount of time, and I want it to happen like this. You could go into detail with me about that, and I would understand it. But with the universe, it's a lot simpler than that. The universe gets that energy and basically is like, okay, what type of energy did I just get sent? Oh, high vibrating energy, and it's positive. Okay, now I need to look and see, what has that person been focusing on that is a match for what they sent me? They sent me something positive. I want to send them something positive back. But let's see, what have they been focusing on? Well, that's going to dictate what you're sent. Unfortunately, many of the times we're busy speaking and thinking in the negative. What I mean by that is, if we have a limited amount of money, we're used to saying something like, oh, well, I don't want to be broke anymore. But you know what? That doesn't really tell the universe what we really want. The universe doesn't understand the don't wants. The universe understands the wants. The universe understands what is put out there that's clear-cut, straight, cut and dry. It understands intentions. It understands wants. What kind of intention are you going to put out there? What do you want? I don't want to know what you don't want. That's the negative. The easiest way to understand what it is you need to tell the universe you want is by writing down on a piece of paper all the things you don't want. So you might say, I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be late on my rent. I don't want a job with a boss who's mean. I don't want a job where I have to work at night. You should write down all your don't wants. Okay, once you have them all written down, you simply take those and you turn them into the positive. So if you said, I don't want to be broke anymore, well, obviously the positive of that would be something like, I want to have abundance quickly and easily in my life. That's a simple intention. You can get more specific with your wants. Now, one thing I must say, many people try to use the law of attraction to bring money to themselves, and it doesn't work. Well, there's a reason why it doesn't work, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. Even though I just told you how to phrase the want, many people do that. Many people will say, I want more money. I want to be paid more. I want, you know what I mean? So they'll phrase it like that. But really, here's the problem with that. The universe thinks even simpler than that. The universe is looking for, wait, that's too general. What are they focusing on that I can really grab a hold of and know what to send them? You know, money, what is that tied to? And that's the exact question. What is it tied to? So if you're really trying to manifest abundance, a better way to do that is that you make a statement such as, I want a brand new black Mercedes BMW. You actually put out there not that you want more money, but you need to attempt to manifest the things that you have planned to do with the money. I can tell you from experience, experimenting with it myself, a really excellent man that has this website called stevepavlina.com. He also writes a lot about it. Many people can tell you this, that it is easier to manifest money not by saying you want more money, but by specifically stating what it is you want. Like, is it a car? Is it a dream house? Is it, what is it specifically? Is it a new wardrobe? Is it a new computer? Well, because then you know what? The universe will understand that. Now, the universe understands that you wanted to send a new computer. And the universe's goal is to flow that to you in some way or another. So that means in the end, the universe is going to make sure that you have the money to get that new computer. Now, yes, what you may be thinking is, what if I just end up getting a new computer? What if somebody just, unexpectedly says, hey, I got a laptop I don't want anymore. Do you want it? Yes, it is possible that may happen, but most often that doesn't happen. But occasionally, yes, your intentions kind of go to the left when you mean them to go to the right. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. You're still not being sent something bad. You just will know at that point, okay, that's a great thing, because at that point it's working. Okay, it's working. Let me adjust the intention that I'm stating, that I'm telling the universe. Now, the thing with cause and effect, and this is where people have a problem. This is the reason what usually leads them to trying to learn about the law of attraction, excuse me, is because maybe they have some bad things that just keep happening in their lives. You've heard the person that has said, I just have such bad luck. Well, yeah, them saying that repeatedly to themselves causes their bad luck. That's a part of it. But another part of it is the negativity that's going along with the statement. So with cause and effect, you really want to not only watch what you're thinking, watch what you're saying out loud, but you also want to watch your emotional state. If you spend a lot of time being mad, upset with the things people do, angry, frustrated, in a state of worry, in a state of any negative emotion, then during those times you are sending out negative vibrations to the universe, and the universe is going to return to you something negative. So you have to get good control of yourself. With the law of attraction, it's not just learning how it works and the steps to do. Literally, you have to get control of yourself. You have to first pay attention to what you're doing, what you're thinking, how your emotions are, and trying to be in a better emotional state. And, it's not easy. For example, if you get in your car and you're driving to work and a person cuts you off, often it's not surprising that you would, before you even have a chance to think about it, something negative might come out of your mouth, or you might think something negative or get frustrated with them or just really angry. Excuse me. But those are the things you have to watch out for. So you have to get used to having control in a way where you catch yourself before doing these things. And instead, the best way to handle those situations is at first to kind of fool yourself. By example, when that happens, find something good to say about that person. That's why I say it's like fooling yourself, because sometimes it's a stretch. The person just cut you off, almost caused an accident. You had your child in the car, and now you're going to try to find something nice to say about them. So it's going to be kind of difficult, right? Well, that's why I say you have to try to fool yourself at first until you get into more of a natural flow that's naturally coming from you to naturally automatically think always good thoughts of other people, even when they're doing actions that aren't so good. So you might think, I know you're thinking, so what would I say in that situation? It happened to me many times, and I can tell you what I would say. I would say something like, well, I'm glad that at least they're driving, a safe car, and even though they cut me off, it looks like, they're actually a safe driver, so maybe they just didn't see me, but I'm glad to see they're driving safely. So I try to find anything that I could say. I'm thankful that they have good tires on their car. Or I could say, if they did acknowledge that they realized they cut me off, then that is a lot easier. It gives me something a little bit easier to say about them. Well, I'm glad they at least were nice enough to give me a wave after that happened. So you really try hard to find something to say about the person, because your mind is going to follow. With those thoughts and the things you say, your mind's going to follow along with that, and it's going to affect the type of vibrations you're sending out. Because believe me, I'm sorry to tell you, but if you're thinking a negative thought, you're sending out negative vibrations. So, and it only really hurts yourself. That's the only person you affect. So the reason why I say that is because if you get into an argument with another person, and then that person walks away, and maybe that person isn't the type of person to hold on to things, so they walk away and they're just fine, but you're still pissed off. So you just keep in your mind thinking about it, stewing about it. You're not hurting them, you're hurting yourself, because all the while you're in a state of negative emotions. All the while you're thinking negative thoughts. All the while you're mad. You're sending out negative vibrations. So you need to stop that as soon as you can and refocus and get back into a state where you're thinking about something positive. In the beginning, I usually recommend having something that you plan to do that. For some people, it's music. For other people, well, if you don't happen to be near your music, I always think it's easiest to have planned something that you're going to use that you already know of ahead of time. Like the best thing that ever happened in your life. For some people, that's the birth of their child. So in those times where you need to quickly refocus so that you are no longer sending out negative vibrations and instead are sending out positive, you think of something that causes you to remember a time where you were in that state of high vibration, high positive vibration. Something that elicits feelings of love is the best, because love is the strongest positive, causes the strongest positive vibration. Gratitude is another one that causes, high positive vibrations to go out. So it's often good to get into a practice of once or twice a day, like morning and evening, to say what you're thankful and grateful for. And I know this was on Oprah. Oprah, I think, did a show about gratitude one time. And I know a lot of the things she does shows on, she practices them herself. So a lot of times when she's interviewing people on her show and they're coming on her show and talking about, this and that, I know that Oprah a lot of times puts these things into practice. And it is, awesome. Practicing what they call practicing gratitude, meaning being grateful. The vibrational state it puts you at, it just really greatly raises your vibrations. And now, if you're at the time working on trying to manifest something in your life, whether it's a new job, a new boyfriend or girlfriend, maybe you're trying to manifest a new living situation where maybe you want to move somewhere, maybe you want a new house, a new car, new whatever. It's really good to practice gratitude, because what will happen is as you're practicing gratitude and as more and more good things are happening to you as you're practicing the law of attraction, by practicing gratitude, that's almost like helping it to keep going. You could think of it that way. Is once you've got it going, now you want to keep it going. And using gratitude is one of the best ways. Okay, because let's say, for example, you use the law of attraction, you wanted a new house, you got a new house. Great. But that's not the end. Are you going to stop practicing the law of attraction because you achieved what you want? Well, you shouldn't. You could keep flowing wonderful things, because the way it works is that something like this picks up momentum. So you don't want to stop. You want to keep going. You literally want to say, what is it that I need to achieve next? What is it that I need to work on next? You need to keep doing it. And one of the best ways to keep it going is by using gratitude. Now, I already talked about thoughts and words having an effect. I'll get a little bit more specific for those of you who want to understand more about the power of words. Words have power. Like I was just saying, love is the strongest emotion. So to say I love you is actually the strongest positive emotion you can send out. So the phrases that carry the highest positive vibrations are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. And you may notice those are also the 4 phrases that are also practiced in the practice of Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian practice. I guess you could say it has some similarities to the law of attraction, but it actually has been used for so many things. Not just the law of attraction, but it's actually been used in healing a lot. I've used it myself in doing healing, and it's great for not only healing, but for breaking down barriers, or maybe there's something in your past that you're really trying to let go of and you're trying to release it. You know, using high vibration, powerful words is a great way to do that. So along with your practice of practicing the law of attraction, it helps greatly to put something like this into practice where maybe in the morning or maybe in the evening before you go to bed, you will maybe focus on the things that you were trying to manifest while you repeatedly say these phrases. What you're doing is you're basically consciously and purposely sending out high vibration energy, and you're focusing on what you're trying to manifest. So you're basically sending the energy out there that needs to be used to create that. And the reason why you need to do that is because, and as somebody who is a scientist may say I'm wrong to say this, but there's a reason why I'm saying this. There is like no such thing as free energy. And I'm not going to, I know on a quantum level that you could say that that's not true, but the reason why I say that, what I mean exactly is there's the energy that you send out from your thoughts, from your actions, and then there's things that are created. Like you want a new house, well, you're trying to manifest a new house. Well, that takes energy to manifest. And you could think of it as like, how are you going to pay for the thing that you're asking the universe for? I mean, imagine that the universe, if it helps you, imagine that the universe is a store. And this store, sitting on the shelf, has a new house, it has a new car. Well, those things have to be paid for. How are you going to pay for it? Well, the universe accepts one form of payment. That's energy, that's vibrations. Negative or positive. Okay, you can imagine there's a positive side of the store with positive things, and there are items you can buy that are negative, things you don't want, like a broken leg, broken arm, you get fired from your job, your house burns down. Those are negative things you don't want. Well, you go into the universal, store, universal energy store, and you're going to buy something. You need to have money to pay for it. Money as in energy. that is what you're using as money. Is you're basically using energy. You're basically telling the universe, I want you to manifest this. I want you to create this for me in my life. Well, you have to pay for it. It has to be created somehow. Nothing like literally manifests out of thin air. It actually, there is an explanation for where things manifest, and it's on a quantum level, so I'm not going to go into it because it will really confuse this. Excuse me. But that's how you can think of it, is that for the things you're trying to manifest, you need to send the universe the energy that it's going to need to be able to create them. Same thing, if you're going to go out and do yard work in the hot sun, well, don't you think that you should be hydrated, maybe have had breakfast, because that's going to give you the energy you're going to need to actually work? Well, it's kind of the same way with universal energy and how things get creative. If you think of it in that way, you will understand that there are things that you need to do. So there is the intention plus the action equals your manifestation, whatever it is you're trying to manifest. And along with those two things, the intention and the action, you need to be either sending the universe positive or negative vibration energy, either high vibration, positive or negative energy. So it's that simple. You can, think of it that way, and I think maybe it'll make it easier for you to understand on your part what it is you need to do to really manifest something into your life. Now, one other thing I want to mention is that there's such a thing called synchronicity. What happens with synchronicity is, let's say that you get up in the morning and you practice intentions, and you start just saying a simple intention. Maybe you'll either use I want or I have perfect health. Maybe you'll either say I want to have perfect health, or I intend to have perfect health, or I am perfectly healthy. And maybe you say that repeatedly while you're focusing on a vision of yourself as the epitome of perfect health. And while you're doing that, you know that your vibrations have to be high and positive. So before you do it, maybe you got into a high vibrating state by listening to music that moves you greatly, or maybe before you started working on manifesting, maybe what you did was you started thinking about something that really gets you excited, or you started thinking about, like I said before, something that happened that was the best thing that ever happened in your life, like the birth of a child. And so these are the things that you have to do, that you have to all put together. Now, the thing that sometimes will cause you to either not manifest something quickly or to not manifest it at all is what people generally have a problem doing is they do not hold the visual long enough. They do not hold the vision and the visual, and which means they do not hold their focus long enough on what it is they're trying to manifest. They don't put enough time into putting focus on it. You need to make sure that you put enough focus on it, or else it's not going to manifest. You're not going to create it in your life. So you need to make sure you're not trying to rush this. You don't want to do this too quickly, rush it and say, oh, well, I only got a quick 5 minutes before I have to be to work. I'll do this real quick. No, instead, wait until you have more time where you don't have to rush, because if what you're trying to manifest is really worth it to you, I think you're going to want more time to really work on it and work on it well. Now, like I said, you need to make sure you can up your vibrations when you're working on manifesting something. So the last thing that I wanted to discuss is something else that you can use. Prayers, mantras, and decrees. Now, many people not attempting to practice the law of attraction pray or do mantras or decrees every day. I do that myself. So I don't generally have to practice a law of attraction because I'm already doing something that is, I'm already practicing some things that are already sending a lot of positive, high vibration energy out into the universe. I'm already practicing on a daily basis, increasing my vibrations and keeping them increased. So all I do when I'm trying to manifest something is I'm just adding the intention to it and spending time putting focus on it. Often in meditation works well for me. But all of these things are really good tools to use for not just increasing your vibration for that amount of time you're going to be working on the law of attraction, but for increasing your vibrations overall permanently, but for steadily raising them and raising them. And if you're wondering, okay, well, what benefit would that have for me to do? Well, for one thing, the higher and higher you raise your vibrations, you're going to attract, like attracts like. So the higher your vibrations are, the more easier it will be to attract things that are of a higher vibration, which means all kinds of good things. So even if you're not always consciously practicing the law of attraction, but maybe you have a habit of meditating once a day, and maybe a part of your meditation is that you also spend a certain amount of time either praying or saying mantras or decrees. Well, you will find that your vibrations will steadily increase over time permanently, meaning you won't be going up for that moment but then back down. You're permanently working on increasing them. And what you will start to notice is things will happen. Things will begin to happen that are quite wonderful. Excuse me. For example, just stating something one day, you might just state, tomorrow I want more money. You might state something not even really thinking about it. You might think a thought like that, and you'll realize the next day that fleeting thought you had, it actually manifested the very next day. The more you work on increasing your vibrations and the higher and higher your vibrations go, you will find that you are actually living a life that almost seems full of miracles, where miracles become commonplace to you, where you just you're flowing things just by mentioning something, you seem to be flowing things to you. And that's what we all want to get to. And it's not difficult at all to get there. And pretty much everyone knows that reads at my website that I don't generally write, teach, or coach on anything that I don't have personal experience in, where I can't teach you or share with you what I know without it being from a personal experience level. So I do not teach anything or share anything unless I've actually experienced it, unless I can say firsthand, okay, this is the way it works, and I know that from experience. So everything that I'm telling you, I'm actually telling you from experience. That's also why I love Steve Pavlina's website. It's StevePavlina.com. And actually, his wife, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. She's actually psychic. He's got an awesome website. I mean, wealth of information. And I'll tell you, when I first started practicing the law of attraction, after I read some of the books that were recommended to me, and actually I never read The Secret because I kind of felt like the first one that I read was probably, it was beginners. It was probably equal to The Secret. So, but after I'd read quite a few books on the law of attraction, I wanted to go a little bit deeper with it because, it was working for me, but it still wasn't working as well as I had hoped. And so I found Steve's site and I started reading there. That is how it finally all made sense to me, because one piece of knowledge that he shares about the law of attraction that is for many people the missing piece is that you have to emotionally be able to feel that you already are what you're trying to be. For example, he used the example of a kid playing sports. I think it was baseball. This kid would get up and he would hit like a home run every time easily, and somebody had asked the kid, how do you do that? And the kid had said something like, I don't know, I just get up there and I literally remember what it feels like when I hit a home run. So he was like drawing it to him by feeling that home run. Literally, he remembered the emotion that he felt when he hit the home run. So many times when we're trying to manifest things into our life, we may be trying to manifest a new job, but maybe the position we're trying to manifest is an advancement for us. Maybe we haven't done that yet. We're trying to advance. We haven't done that yet. We haven't been that yet. We haven't held that title yet. Well, you literally need to be able to feel yourself already there. What does it feel like? I mean, is it a new car you're trying to manifest? Well, I know you can visualize it, and I know you can see it in your mind's eye, but tell me, what does it feel like to sit in it? What does the leather feel like against your legs? What does it feel like when you reach out and turn the radio on? What's that smell that you smell when you first turn the air conditioner on in a new car? Or even the new car smell? Can you, while you're working on manifesting, actually experience what you're trying to manifest fully? And a lot of times for people, this is literally the missing piece, is that they need to literally feel that they already have it. They need to experience it. I mean, are you trying to manifest your dream house? Well, if where you're sitting right now is in your one-bedroom apartment, and you've got noisy people above you, you can see dents in the wall and stuff, and here you are trying to manifest your dream house. And maybe, it's a really expensive house, marble countertops, Italian tile floors, large lanai, in-ground pool. Maybe you're trying to manifest all of this. But yet, you're sitting in your one-bedroom apartment, and that's what you're feeling. You're feeling the reality of what you're presently in. Well, that's what you have to work on. Not feeling. You have to instead work on feeling, literally closing your eyes and feeling yourself walking through that new house, feeling yourself already there. What does it feel like? I mean, is it some big achievement? Is it that you're trying to, maybe you have a company and maybe you're trying to turn that company into $1 million revenue producing company? What does that feel like? What is that going to change for you? You really have to be able to close your eyes and not only see it, but see it, feel it, and actually imagine yourself going to deposit on a daily basis a greater amount of checks into your business checking account. All these things. What's it going to feel like when you find yourself writing that deposit slip for way more money than you're used to? What's that going to feel like? What emotion does that elicit? So that, a lot of times, is the missing piece to really being able to manifest your reality fully, no matter what it is you're trying to manifest. Could be a new job, could be a new boyfriend. I mean, this goes for that too. If you're trying to manifest a new boyfriend or girlfriend, but you're trying to manifest a type of person, I know it sounds funny me saying that, a type of person you have never dated before, don't you think that you really need to focus on, well, what would it feel like to date a person that's so different than what I've previously experienced? I mean, what does that new girlfriend or boyfriend, will you be doing different things? Can you visualize that? Can you visualize, maybe all the girlfriends and boyfriends you've ever had have been controlling, argumentative? Well, can you imagine, okay, well, what's it going to be like for this new boyfriend or girlfriend? What are your evenings are going to be like? Can you envision yourself, relax, everybody's perfectly calm, there's no argument, you're watching, a movie together. I mean, can you really visualize it and feel it? So this is something that, it's not exactly easy, but it's not exactly brain surgery either. It's not exactly very difficult. It just takes practice. After a week or two of practicing doing it, you actually not only start to enjoy doing it, but you get more into it, and you finally will realize that it's a lot easier than it seems. At first it seems like there's a lot to remember, but what you do is you take it one step at a time. Maybe first you're just going to focus, and that's what I did. I first started out by just focusing on what was I thinking about. So all throughout the day I would do these checks. What am I thinking about right now? I'm standing in line at in a grocery store at the checkout. And, you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts about things that you literally, you didn't even notice that you were doing it. Are you thinking a negative thought about the funny looking pants the man in front of you is wearing? That's a negative thought. So you catch yourself. So that's what you need to do first. You need to first get used to paying attention to what your mind is doing, the thoughts, that are going through your head, the things that you are saying without thinking first, that you're just letting come out of your mouth, whether you're saying them to yourself or another person. Watching out for anything that you say that might be negative towards yourself. Like, I'm so clumsy. Well, yeah, if you keep saying that you're clumsy, you will be. And you know what? Psychic abilities, same thing applies. If you keep telling somebody, and I did this, so I can speak from experience because this actually happened to me. If you keep saying, I do not have good clairaudience, guess what? You won't have good clairaudience. You know how I found that out? There's this psychic town that's like about 40 minutes from where I live called Casadega. And I have a friend that wanted to go there. So, we both kind of wanted to go and check it out because, we'd heard about it. And I told her I would go, but just not on Halloween. That, I'll go. And I actually told her, I said, I will go with you on a nice, pretty, sunny day. So anyway, we went there. The people were awesome. They were really great. I had some, not too many unusual experiences, but we did have an experience in the hotel there where there are a couple of, what you call, cold spots where, there are supposed to be spirits in that area where you literally, you walk through it. Like you're walking down the hallway and, maybe you're feeling like the temperature, maybe you're feeling that it's about, I don't know, maybe you're feeling it's like 77 degrees. And then all of a sudden you hit this cold spot that feels like it's 40. And literally you walk through it. And you can't help but stop and go, what did I just walk through? And you can't help but stop and go back because you're just like, that was really strange. And so, yeah, you stop and you turn around and you're like, you walk back through it because I guess to convince yourself that you're not imagining it. Anyway, when we went there was a really nice shop that had all different types of things in there. And we went in there, and the lady in there did aura pictures. So she could take a picture of your aura. Well, we were talking to her, and I said to her, and she had psychic abilities, and I said to her, oh, I don't have good clairaudience. And she looked at me and she said, actually, there's nothing wrong with your clairaudience except that you keep telling yourself that you don't have clairaudience. And she looked at me and she said, I know that you're probably thinking I don't know what I'm, talking about. Because I know I must have looked at her like I would know if I have clairaudience or not. But she said to me, she said, really? She said, trust me, just try to stop saying that. And instead, if you can, try instead saying the opposite. Try beginning saying, I have great clairaudience. And I did. I went ahead and I took what she said and I tried it. And she was absolutely right. I hadn't been able to develop clairaudience, not because I couldn't develop it, but the reason why it took me so long to develop it is because I kept telling myself I didn't have it. So that's the perfect example of the law of attraction. Is like, what are you telling yourself? That maybe you don't even realize it. It may be as simple as, it never fails. This always happens. That always happens. Just stop telling yourself these things. First, watch for them, then start the process of recreating what you tell yourself. At first you're going to have to start doing it consciously until you can start doing it unconsciously just as a habit. But that's a great place to start. Just watch what your thoughts are, and then once you realize what you have going on, excuse me, then attempt to change them. It's really simple to get started, and within 2-3 weeks, you will see changes. You will see synchronicity. Synchronicity simply means, and I know I started to explain this and I got off track. We use synchronicity to be able to tell if the law of attraction is working. And that is one of the ways to use synchronicity. As you're repeatedly saying, I want a brand new black Mercedes 350. As you're trying to manifest that, when you are out and about, synchronicity is all of a sudden, you notice everywhere you look, there's a black, brand new 350 Mercedes. I kid you not, that actually happens. With the law of attraction, with practicing the law of attraction, it's common for synchronicity to happen. So that is your kind of like your validation that it's working. So you watch out for the synchronicity, and then you're on the right track. Keep going. Don't give up. Well, I'm going to end the show now, but feel free to come over to sherryandrea.com. If you're interested in anyone I've mentioned on the show, such as Melanie Geddes, the author of Learning to Dream with Your Eyes Open, or Steve Pavlina, his website, feel free to come to my website, send me an email. I'd be more than happy to send you their web addresses so that you can go check them out. While you're at it, on Kindle, get the book, Your Life is Waiting by Lynn Grabhorn. It is an excellent book on the law of attraction if you're a beginner. So if you're a beginner just starting out, it's a wonderful, easy read. Okay, I've really enjoyed speaking with you today about the law of attraction. I hope that you've enjoyed it and you've gotten something out of it, or at least a good start. Maybe I've told you something that, was the one key that you needed to know. And I look forward to talking with you again on the next show, next Tuesday at 9 p.m.